Hi everyone, I'm Shweta from Guinea's Planet, and we welcome you in this webinar, Talent Management in Early Stage Social Enterprises. I have with me Anisha. Hi Anisha.
Hi, Shweta,
Uh, so let
and hi, everyone.
so let me tell you something about Anisha before she takes over. Anisha has over 15 years of experience in talent acquisition, talent management, and human resource related work. She's also been engaged with a few startups. So what she brings here today obviously has a lot of value. Um, we know that some of you have sent questions, and we'll be taking them at the end. Right now, over to you, Anisha, to take this forward. Go ahead.
So, again, welcome everyone, and we are going to talk about what is talent management, why do we need it, and how do you achieve it in a startup environment which is highly dynamic and full of chaos. We'll begin this with a quotation from Jack Welch. Talent management deserves as much focus as the financial capital management in corporations, and this is why we are here today. Talent management has several aspects. The complexities grow with the size of an organization. Today, we will cover the basics as needed for a startup. Why do we need it? You want to focus on talent management to ensure you are making optimum utilization of your resources. What do you mean by that? When we invest our time, energy, effort, money into anything, be it people or items, these are our resources. We want to be sure that we are able to make full use of these resources, bring out the full benefit from our investment. This is optimal utilization of resources. Talent management. By definition, talent management is the systematic attraction, identification, development, engagement, retention, and deployment of those individuals who are of particular value of an organization. Let's break it up and simplify. Talent management is all about making sure you're able to manage your people and team well, ensuring they're able to work well with each other, which in turn is in the best interest of the organization. It includes talent acquisition, finding the right people and attracting the right people to your organization. Productivity enhancement, ensuring that the team is productive, utilizing their time well, and on the right things. Motivation, every individual is unique, think and behave and feel differently. Now, keeping your team motivated is very important so that they can work well. Skills utilization, all of us have different skills, even apart from the technical skills belonging to our profession. We may possess a variety of other skills. Is the organization able to recognize them and fully utilize them? Once you have done all this, you want to take the benefit out of that. You want this team to continue with you for a decent tenure so you can reap the benefits of what you have invested in them. So you want to retain your team. Now, all of this may sound like a lot, but don't worry. We are here today to talk about all of this, simplify them, and get some top tips about how to do it. The biggest question we face is how to get the right people. Now, when we talk about talent management in social enterprises, you need to understand your target audience, the right talent pool. There is a wide variety of professions available in the world. Now, much like in the case of any other field, be it the corporate world, art, sports, healthcare, performing arts, development sector is one of the several options available for an individual to choose as a profession. We need to understand the driving factors for the choice of career. Choice of profession is determined by one's passion and interest. Someone may want to earn money, contribute. Someone may want to make a difference, become famous. It's every individual's choice. There are several established institutes and courses specific to development sector. So that is where your talent is most likely to come from. And that is where you would normally target. Within each choice of profession as well, each individual's career trajectory would be different. Choice of location or organization, etc., may vary. While some may aspire to be part of large established multinational brands, others may aspire to make their mark in smaller, growing organizations or even startups. Development sector is no different. You need to understand the psyche of your talent pool to be able to focus correctly. The million dollar question, how to attract talent. So, attracting talent is always a tricky area for any organization, more so for a startup. A startup is not always cash rich. While for a social enterprise, there may be grants and funding available, they will always have a set of priorities where to spend the same. Thus, the spending capacity on workforce will always be limited. So, there are a couple of key factors I see to succeed in attracting talent. You need to find ways to identify people who can resonate with your vision, who are driven by your passion for the cause, the goal you are chasing. People who can think like you and hence run with you. You need to find alternate ways to engage talent other than permanent employment. So, internships, volunteering, part time consultants is a great alternative for the same. Let's come to the internship programs. Now, internships can be of various types. They can be part time or full time, they can be paid or unpaid. Organizations try paid internships too. While some succeed, paid internships often fail because they are often without testing. Unpaid internships are common, especially for college students, as well as for others in later stage of career or life, or even someone trying to make a career switch. For college students, internships are part of their curriculum, hence they must complete one or multiple internships. However, the focus is more to put in their CV where they interned. It rarely becomes their career domain. Overall, for any internship, the attitude of the interns may vary, and that matters a lot. While some may be dedicated to learn as well as contribute, there may be others who don't end up finding their heart in it because, after all, internships are for a limited period. What can be done in this scenario? While internships have been successful for some, most have not been able to run successful internship programs. Now, it is an observation that the ones where the leader puts themselves out there and talks are more likely to inspire faith, generate interest, and succeed. Internships will be successful if you can define the goal, purpose, and connect the individual's goals with it. Interns from different age groups and backgrounds come with very different perspectives. Key point is whenever we engage people with any activity, it has to be linked with the objective. In general, and more especially for the unpaid internships, you give back something meaningful to the interns. I'll take the example of Guinea's Planet, where Guinea's Planet runs a mom internship program. It is designed like a two-way process. They have designed spaces and opportunities to help moms, often on a career break, move ahead where they want to. The program focuses heavily on the interns. While the interns are focusing on the enterprise, each one's tasks are designed very specific to the individual career goals, pushing them out of their comfort zones, while additionally providing access to skill building and capacity building workshops. For moms on longer career breaks, the meetings, the reviews, etc., help bring a structure to their day, helping them start getting used to a work routine, develop develop the ability to plan their day to prepare them for their future, getting back to the work life. For any internship, the enterprise may be likely to absorb some interns who have worked successfully, as it is an already tested case. On the other hand, some interns may aspire to be somewhere else and may not want to continue. So, while we have talked about the key point of getting the right people, let us talk about the other elements of talent management. Talent management is a distinct function of human resource management. Human resource management's objective is to hire the right people and manage them effectively through thoughtful policies and procedures. Talent management focuses on ways to develop employees by mapping out career paths and training programs. To understand this simply, we will overview the components of human resource management with a deeper focus on the elements which are key to talent management aspect. So, what do we need in terms of an HR department, the framework needed, and the resources available? We will cover these aspects in this section. For any kind of organization, for it to grow and succeed, a basic infrastructure of systems and procedures needs to be in place. From the perspective of human resource management and talent management, even if you are a three-member team, it is advisable to put together your policy, guidelines, systems, and procedures. Ideal to have the processes defined. The SOPs, the standard operating procedures. It helps both the organization and the individuals. This enables mutual success. Success of the organization and individuals is interrelated. If one succeeds, the other grows, and vice versa. While you might think I am just a startup, you won't know when you grow big enough to start struggling with implementation of systems. Thus, in my opinion, it is critical to do this at the very beginning. We are going to help you simplify this by sharing top tips, and there are also other resources and templates to help you do this coming up later in the conversation. In the SOPs, here are some suggestions of what you may like to include. Make a simple employee handbook to be given to new joinees. Define the vision and mission statement, organization's long term and short term goals, some do's and don'ts that you may want to list. And it is a good idea to include a CEO's note, which can be motivational as well as broadly talk about the ethos of the organization, mutual expectations, and help new joinees align with organization's culture. Most importantly, you want to include in the employee handbook policies relevant to employees. For example, leave policy, any reimbursements, benefits, employee grievance handling process, non disclosure agreement, data protection, social media usage policy, and so on. While the employee handbook is for the reference of all employees and is often shared with new joinees, a human resource manual, on the other, confidential document for the access and reference of the HR department or the leadership of the organization or the persons managing the HR role in the absence of a fully functional HR team. It will contain the policies and information to help the HR team function efficiently, ensuring equitable treatment for all. Hence, it remains an internal document. From the organization's perspective, I recommend having a human resource manual right at the start, describing the following SOPs, covering the 6 pillars of human resources, which will immensely help in the activities of talent management. The 6 pillars of human resource management are strategic HRM, HR operations, often known as HR ops, talent acquisition, training and development, compensation and benefits, and performance management system. Let's look at these elements deeper in a deeper way. Strategic human resource management. Now, talent management includes the organization's business planning and workflows planning to be done in line with that. Strategic HRM includes all planning and strategic HR functions like succession planning, risk assessment, budgeting, etc. For example, you see a large project coming up in, say, X months. Now, you need to plan what workforce you will need and what kind of skills to deliver that. Accordingly, plan your budgets and hiring and onboarding of people. You will also need to plan if you need them for specific period or for long term. Now, talent acquisition we have talked about in great detail, but what it also includes, this process includes the selecting of right candidate, making them an offer. This also includes the other elements which I'm going to talk about now. Making the offer, which can sometimes involve some negotiations and convincing skills, followed by an appointment and contract letter to be issued and signed by both the parties. Onboarding process, like any logistics required, IT setup must be requested by the HR team, the relevant team involved. And you want to have a structured joining process. HR person might have a checklist of documents to be collected from the new joinee for records. And an induction process to help employees settle in well. Each employee must have a formal induction, as short or as long as it suits your organization. Induction program gives the introduction of the organization and its departments and workflow. Orientation programs help new joinees understand the broad functioning of the organization and its ethos. On the job training is facilitated by managers or peers to support the initial days. The next part is HR operations. This includes the basics like HRIS, which is the Human Resource Information System. How will you store information? How will you manage that information? Other basics like attendance, timesheets, salaries, employees' personal records, leaves, performance review, discipline, query handling, and any other day to day issues. One of the elements in talent management, which I hold very dear to, performance management systems. Why do you need it? How will you manage mutual justice? While the employees must do justice to the task, the organization also owes them some things. The organization needs to be fair to the team members too. So, performance management systems help with periodic alignment of goals and expectations, helps to enhance productivity, employee satisfaction, and keeps the team motivated and enhances overall growth of both the organization and the team. How do you do it? The first step is there must be defined benchmarks for different roles and tasks. While every individual's capacities may vary, a job level and tasks should always have standard benchmarks which are applicable to all. This should be well communicated to for the understanding of everybody responsible for those tasks. So individuals know what is expected out of them. From time to time, you may want to acknowledge when someone meets the expectations or exceeds them. This helps keep your workforce motivated. Systematic and periodic feedback mechanism with employees to let them know both good and bad. Else, people are not often sure where they are going, even with the best of intentions. Hence, a periodic review mechanism is a must. Any appraisal, increment, promotion policy as it suits your circumstances. Training and development. The key aspect covered here is how will you ensure your team has adequate required skills to perform the tasks they are entrusted with? What kind of training can you provide? The elements of T&D function are listed here, but we will not cover them in detail. I'm happy to answer any specific questions anyone may have around this. I'll take an example of Guinea's Planet. We have regular sessions on capacity building as well as skill development here. Also, knowledge sharing among the team. Like we were trained on how to use Slack when we joined. Another example is one of us volunteered to conduct a session on Canva, which is a skill we all needed.